sort of like this world is sort of as if there's going to be an afterlife and you're going to remember. It's sort of like we live here and now, but get ready to say goodbye to the annihilation of this wonderful or disastrous body you're encompassing that basically costumes you throughout your life. And that can either be liberating or it could be suffering and agonizing because you'll never get that body back. Or perhaps within your infinite thinking, mind immaterial life, maybe one day you may get another body, like a reincarnation notion or something like that. But the idea is that it would sort of be like it is now, except we would actually be, instead of uncertain about, if there is a paradise that awaits, we would be certain because we are immortal in the sense that the mind will continue even after the body deteriorates. But if we take this notion B that everyone is immortal to be anything like death equaling the physical annihilation, thereby immortality equaling and meaning the avoidance of every kind of possible harm, that nothing could ever hurt us, we would really be living in an ideal paradise. Because, and Mr. Preston draws a beautiful example in, I forget, I think it was 101, but he made the sort of comical, hypothetical world where, the moment somebody wants to kill somebody, they literally can't. If a bus comes to run over a person, not intentionally, but, this just happens, the person happens to be walking across the street, and bam, the bus comes, all of a sudden the bus will turn into a flower, and everybody in it will somehow be moved spatially across the map, so in order to avoid any sort of, destruction towards this person's physical constituents. It's skin. There would be no pain. There would be every time somebody tries to commit an action like rape, the somebody trying to attack or insert, um, sorts of painful activity, inflicting onto another person. It wouldn't, not that it wouldn't be allowed, it just wouldn't be able to happen. The moment somebody tries to shoot you on the head, the bullet will turn into a sort of gas that would just kind of fly around you and turn into a perfume or something ridiculously, out of the ordinary, only because people cannot hurt other people in this sense of immortality, where everything is physical. Okay, now I want to tackle a little bit of the second point that you put on the table, which was a very good one by given reference to Martha Nussbaum. Without death, life has no value. Now, I, on a notepad, kind of drew out from everything I've already discussed, sort of, I guess, a roadmap of how I want to talk about this and what I'm going to bring up. I want to pose the question: why does removing death from the equation affect the value or the quality of life? So I kind of put it as an equation. X plus Y equals value. I'm looking at this. It's not scripted, but I'm just reading off my notes, as it were. X could be substituted for having life, to have life. Y could be substituted for having death. So if you have life plus you have death, then that equals value. Then life then can have value. To give you an example, so this doesn't sound so abstract, in the form of courage, value can come. In the form of, let's say, temperance, the self-control within a person. I suppose we can understand life to have value only by means of death, because the knowledge of the fact that we eventually will die makes planning appropriate. So without death, we would never really have to fear either A, as I already kind of categorized as A, the death of the soul, or the death of the I, as it were. When we speak, we usually say, I went to the market, I am a person, I love her, whatever. When we're referring to ourselves as I, that goes beyond, we're not just talking about, my brain or my face or my chest or some physical organ on it. Or we could be pretty much talking about everything that it consists of, all its constituents. Or understand it, at least in this sense when I'm talking about it, as simply that little voice that when everything is all quiet and you're taking a math exam, say, and you're saying in your mind, 2 plus 2, that equals 4. That was very weak, but you know what I mean. So without actually verbalizing it, you're verbalizing it in your head, and you can hear the little voice and blah. So courage, or any kind of virtue you want to input, temperance, fortitude, plus the fact of knowing that you're going to die, equals meaning, because it allows for planning, it allows for, oh, well, you're not going to be here forever, you're immortal just like myself, I'm not going to be here forever. We might as well, build together a stronger relationship while we're here, while this bliss reality lasts. Or if it's not so blissful, if you're born into, let's say, Watts or some area that you're just not loving life for some reason. Whatever it is that you value in life, maybe your mother or your father or somebody that's dear to you, makes your life meaningful, or something, some object, some material item, some idea, some concept that makes your life meaningful. You cling on to that. Someone might cling on to that, and therefore life that is the standard of their greatest quality of life, their greatest quality of meaning in life. The fact of knowing you're going to die just immediately makes you want to strive for better and better and better than the quality of life already obtained. Well, because you want to be the best at whatever you can be, since you're not sure when death is going to happen, while you're in this uncertainty of when death will hit you, people have views about death. Death is either known to a person to be dogmatically certain that I'm going to paradise, I may see those 72 virgins in an afterlife, and or maybe I might go into a place that is known in this world as heaven, or I may go to reach a different sort of reality, or something along those lines. There's a different sort of place, and whether we interpret that to be spatially or just different dimension, meaning basically beyond my comprehension. You can either fit in this category that you have a dogmatic understanding of this is what's going to happen to me because I believe it, or you can fit into the other category where death is unknown and you're all right with that, but you're not sure, sort of agnostic to the sense. I mean, you're willing to leave open the possibility of anything, nothing like this, or maybe something like this, like reality that I'm experiencing, but plus something else, or maybe it's so beyond us, it's beyond even our comprehension to rationalize that it's just something else entirely. So there's two categories, one known dogmatically, one unknown skeptically. So if we're going to take the first category of knowing dogmatically, then motivation might come from moral guidelines given to you from your religious institution about post-mortem judgment from a deity of some sort. And but if it's unknown skeptically, then you may maybe leave open the possibility that there's all these sorts of ways I'm going to die, but I know that while I'm dead, I'm no longer living. Which seems frankly obvious and intuitive, but while I'm not living, this gives me every reason, since I don't know what's going to happen after, to value things, since I don't know what happens after the end of the line, basically. So for this video, I want to argue that death is not necessary to fulfill or make a meaningful value in life. And I'm going to attempt to do this. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate, mind you, because I'm inclined to think as Martha Nussbaum with this respect. But just to explore the other avenues so it's not left untouched. If one was told that they were going to die, they might have great motivation to make arrangements. They might want to do things they might otherwise have missed out on, like skydiving or bungee jumping or something. If you're immortal, on the other hand, one will never have that anxious desire or motivation to do something. One might owe this to laziness and attribute that to immortality, since death never comes. But I want to argue that death is not necessary as a means of motivation to attain values and value in life. Now, it's a bit ambiguous when people say the value of life. Usually what I interpret them to boil that down to semantically is virtues, and things like courage, things like temperance, things like fortitude, things like the ability to use knowledge and use it correctly, however one might construe correctness of knowledge, and justice.